Let's talk about how to pass Morgan Stanley's video interview. What's up guys, it's Mike from Job Read English here to help you pass another interview. Here at Job Read English we help students and professionals find jobs in the UK and around the world. Today we're going to be talking about Morgan Stanley, one of the biggest investment banks in the world, and we're going to be taking you through their video interview process, including 5 fast facts about the company, what you can expect from the application process, common interview questions that seem to get asked regularly, and a couple of other interview questions that we picked out because we thought that they were interesting and unique and we should give you a second opinion about them. If you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and drop us a comment down below to let us know how we did, how your interview went, or what videos you'd like us to make next. So let's jump in with 5 fast facts about Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley first opened in September 1935. During the recovery after World War II, Morgan Stanley was one of the banks that co-managed the finances to rebuild Europe. That's pretty cool. Morgan Stanley has offices in 35 different regions around the world. Their latest initiative in terms of corporate social responsibility has been to deliver a positive impact around mental health for children, adolescents and young adults. Morgan Stanley is founded on 5 core values. Do the right thing, put clients first, lead with exceptional ideas, commit to diversity and inclusion, and to give back. So let's talk about the application process for Morgan Stanley and what you can expect. As ever, if you want more help to pass your Morgan Stanley interview, check out the Pass the Interview Prep Pack in the description below, which includes this research note, the 60-minute interview preparation crash course, and also 2 cheat sheets for motivational and competency questions, which include a ton of sample answers and worksheets so that you can write out your own answers and really smash this interview out of the park. So all of our information comes from publicly available sources. A lot of candidates reported that on average the process takes around 4 months to complete and consists of 3 rounds. So once you submit your application form, you'll be asked to carry out numerical, logical and verbal tests. If you want a really good online test provider that's going to help you out, check out a link in the description below for job test prep. And if you enter in the code JOBREADY, you'll get £10 off your prep pack. If you pass the online test, you'll be invited for a video interview, which tends to last around 30 minutes. And then afterwards, you'll have a day-long assessment centre, which will be the final round. So let's talk about the 6 most common interview questions that we came across from Morgan Stanley. We tend to pick these out. They will have been asked within the last 6 months. And we picked them out because they've been asked a number of times, and we feel like there is a high chance that they're going to be asked again. Question number 1, why Morgan Stanley? So we've already given you those 5 fast facts about Morgan Stanley. I would say you want to pick out 6 to 8 key facts about the company. And as you're picking out those facts, there are loads of places that you can find them. So you could be about us, it could be the company history. With investment banks, it tends to be really easy because they report on a quarterly basis. You might want to find that out through their press release that they're doing. And we tend to find that don't just concentrate on one type of fact. So don't just report about their financials or their earnings per share. Why don't you pick out something about their history, the awards that they've won, their corporate social responsibility projects, what are their charity initiatives? There's lots of things that you can pick out, and if possible, try and choose at least 1 or 2 facts which means something to you. So for example, you just heard in the 5 fast facts about them driving in this initiative to raise awareness about mental health for children, for young adults and also for adolescents. You know, for me personally, growing up in a family which had mental health issues, this is something that would resonate with me. And I think it's great for there to be more awareness around mental health. But what does this mean to you? What is something that Morgan Stanley does that personally resonates with you and what you want to do? It might be that they use technology, it might be what they're doing with Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Whatever it is, pick out those 1 or 2 facts, because otherwise, as you're reading those facts out, it's just going to sound like a shopping list of facts. It's just going to sound like fact 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we tend to find whenever we listen to those answers, they sound pretty boring. Question 2, why this role? So whenever you're asked why you want to do the job, it's really important that you have a good job description. Now, it could be that the company that you're interviewing for has a really short or very general job description. I tend to call these quite salesy job descriptions. What it is that the company is just trying to sell the role to you, but they're not really explaining what would I actually do, what skills would I need, what's my day-to-day. So I would go to one of my go-to websites like prospects.ac.uk, or you could just look up finance analyst job description, and you can find a similar job description from another company or from somewhere else that is quite meaningful for this. And really what you want to do is you want to be trying to find, first of all, what are you going to be doing day to day in this job? So as soon as you get there at 8 a.m, 9 a.m, what are the tasks that you're going to have to do? Who are the people that you're going to have to speak to? Will you work across different processes that you'd have to engage with? Is there technology that you need to be familiar with? Is there a qualification that you would need to take? All of these things are an indication for you showing your employer that you really understand the job that you're doing. The second thing that you're going to need is to explain about why do you want to do this job role? What is it about this job that is going to make you the best person? What are the skills that you have that's going to make you super effective for doing this job? And again, this is something you can take from the job description. Now, you're not going to get long to answer this question, probably about 2, maybe 3 minutes. So you're really going to be wanting to pick out maybe what's the 3 or 4 most important skills that you have that are going to make you great at this job. Question number 3, tell me about a time you were innovative. So last weekend I did an interview success secrets masterclass, which hopefully by the time you watch this video will be available to buy. Down in the description below, if you didn't get tickets beforehand, you'll be able to watch the recording, which was 90 minutes of me explaining how you can pass interview and exactly the 3 steps that you need to go through and what you need to do. But this was a question that came up from somebody because they're like, well, what does that mean? What do you mean being innovative? It's really simple. Is there a new way that you thought of doing something, of solving a problem, of resolving an issue, of coming up with a new result? It could just be seeing things from a different perspective. Whatever it is, why is it new? Why is it innovative? How did you come up with this idea? And also, how did it help you to get a better result than the actions that you could have taken before? Question number 4, what was your experience like working in a team? So for this question, what we're really looking for is to have some work experience. If you have it, then use an example from that. So when have you worked in a team? For example, it could be you're working in a team as part of baristas at Starbucks, and then at the end of the day, you all have to tidy down the coffee shop. What is it that you have to do? How do you make yourself a good team member? How are you organized? How do you communicate? Do you listen? Do you do more work than what is expected of you? Do you think beyond just what do I have to do, and then think, well, what is it that my teammates really need? What is it that the business really needs? And if you don't have work experience, that's okay. What about your voluntary experience? What about any clubs or societies that you're part of? What about something that is just outside of your personal experience? And of course, for most of you, that could be your academics, that's fine. So group project, coursework, how did you work together to make sure you met that end result? Question number 5, when have you shown good leadership skills? All companies employ people with the hopes that one day in the future they will go on to be good leaders. They will go on to manage teams, to have more responsibility, to be able to help to grow the business. Good leadership skills starts with ourselves, with being disciplined, with being able to put things into place to make sure that we can achieve our own goals and the things that we want in life. And then good leadership skills extends beyond that. Maybe you were put in charge of a team for a project at university. How did you make sure that that project gets done? I tend to find that for me, good elements of leadership comes from, first of all, the discipline of myself, to be organized, to have a clear goal in mind, a clear destination, much like the captain of a ship. The crew all know what they have to do, but the captain should always know the destination. And when certain people are going to be needed to do certain things, we have to communicate. We have to treat people with respect that generates some element of loyalty towards you and your vision of what you want to do. We also have to take on additional work at times. I know for myself as a leader, I would never ask anyone else to do something that I wouldn't be able to do myself, or I couldn't expect to do myself. A lot of times what I've seen from people who say that they have good leadership skills is what I call the seagull style of management, which is somebody who just comes in, flies over everyone, craps on them, and then leaves. That's not what being a good leader is about. A good leader is about leading from the front with integrity and demonstrating to everyone else, look, if I can do this, then you can do it too. Question number 6, tell me about a time when you missed a deadline. So this is a negative event question, and it's something that might make you kind of think, well, I've never missed a deadline, I don't really want to talk to them about it. That's something that we've all done. And this is a really important question where you can show, what did you learn? How did you get better after this event? So say, for example, if I missed a deadline to submit a piece of work at university, well, first of all, I tried to communicate that. I may have completely forgotten, but more than likely I would have been like, oh my God, I just spoke to Emma and she said to me, oh, did you hand in that essay that we're meant to do? I'm like, oh no, I've completely forgotten. I would communicate that with the professor who's in charge of that module. I basically say, look, I'm really sorry, I've forgotten how to do this. When should I have this in by? I promise you that it won't happen again. And then I start to talk about, what did I learn from this situation? Well, I need a diary. I need to be more organized. I need to make sure that I manage my time more effectively. Maybe I need to make sure that I protect certain time during the week, which is just dedicated to studies. So if a friend texts me and be like, oh, hey, do you want to go out and play some football or go to the gym? I just say, look, I can't. But still, I leave my phone by the side. So what I'm demonstrating to the interviewer is like, yeah, I missed a deadline, but here's what I learned. And this is why it's never going to happen again. So we picked out 4 other questions that we quite like the look of, or we thought were quite interesting or be good to explore with you. Question 1, when have you overcome a problem creatively? This is really similar to tell me about a time when you came up with an innovative solution. Ultimately, what is creativity? It's just a slightly different way of thinking. It's just a little bit of your own spin. And it could just be based on a book that you read, a different way that you communicated with somebody. It could be something as simple as just cutting a step out or adding an additional step to a process. But creatively, generally, if we're given an essay to do, we're asked to pick the title. If we're given a job to do, maybe you clean with a smile on your face when you're wiping down the tables at a restaurant. I mean, for me, I can remember probably my first ever job was making burgers at KFC. And one thing that I always promised myself is that I would have a smile on my face. I would turn up and I would enjoy, and I would play this silly game where I would try to make as many burgers as I could in like 10 minutes or like in an hour, because I worked in Blue Water and it was really busy. And I loved it. It helped to keep me motivated. It was a creative way to solve a problem, because really the job was pretty boring. It's not that hard to make burgers once you've made 100 of them. But as a result of that, I was always quite entertained. I talked to the other guys. Sometimes I remember there was this guy, he was super skinny and his hands were so quick. And I used to try and race him and do like the mayonnaise gun and all these things, but it helped to keep me entertained. It helped to change my attitude. Question 2, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Whenever you're asked this question and you're having to answer that in one answer, just pick one strength and one weakness. A strength, any of the key skills that are really important for this job, and just proving that skill. Why are you numerate? Why do you think that you've got good people skills? What have you done that can demonstrate that you can link that skill back to? And for your weakness, just thinking back to that question about missing the deadline, don't worry too much about the weakness, but just say what you've learned, how you've gotten better, how you have improved upon this thing. And I tend to find the more genuine it is, the better it is. Question 3, where do you see yourself in the future? Right here, at Morgan Stanley. In 5 years' time, I'd be a manager, I'd be this, I'd be that. Where would you be in the corporate structure? But just remember, every company hires somebody with the hope that they will stay forever. The chances are very low that that's going to happen. But when you do that, you really affirm to your employer that, hey, this is somebody who's really serious, who's really switched on about what they're going to do, and they're hoping to stay with us. Now it's down to us to create an environment where they feel that they can grow and flourish at our business. Question number 4, what makes Morgan Stanley different from its competitors? This is a great question and one to always prepare for in highly competitive environments. It comes up with professional services and with investment banks quite a lot. This is a simple one to answer. Read the annual report. Just read the chairman or the managing director's statement and they'll kind of talk about why they're different. Maybe they earn more profit than their competitors. Maybe they've got different corporate social responsibility. Maybe they grew certain business areas more. If you can go through their quarterly report or their press release, this is also really going to help you. Just putting 4 or 5 key differences. Maybe it's the technology that they use, the awards that they've won. A lot of people struggle with this question, but I find it's just a case if you sat down and did 15 minutes of good research, this question is really quite easy to answer. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, drop us a comment down below. Let us know how you get on with your upcoming interview and good luck.